Today, I'm going to talk about the CARES Act payroll protection program that the US Congress and Senate just passed a bill. The Treasury is trying to get $350 billion for small businesses over the next 2 months. What banks, non-banks, and fintech players can do, and specifically the way banks and fintech players can work together to deliver this amount of money in the hands of small businesses.
Rohit, what does the CARES Act actually say about lending to small businesses?
Yeah, so CARES Act is a very important bill that the government has recently passed into a law, and there are three programs. The one which is, I would say, the most important one right now is the Payroll Protection Plan program, where they talk about giving businesses access to some quick credit, and that means that businesses can calculate what was their payroll expense over the last 12 months and average it out for 1 month and then get 2.5 times of that. Why this program is extremely important is because it's less paperwork than a traditional SBA program. The Treasury and SBA are trying to administer a large chunk of money over next 2 months time, which is unprecedented in the history of America. And that also means that it will also save a lot of jobs. So saving small businesses is equivalent to saving jobs, and that's equivalent to saving the economy.
Some banks have been talking about the risk that this program might put on them. Can you explain a little bit more about what are the costs and benefits for banks under the current way the law is written?
We have been talking to a lot of banks over the last few days, and I think the big worry are twofold. One is obviously how do we handle this a massive amount of inbound calls and applications coming in. We don't have any onboarding or a digital platform or a self-service platform to do that. So that's one thing. The second big worry is that how do I ensure that all the checklists are completed and there's no fraud at the time of inputting the application or at the time of disbursement of funds. The second big worry is that this program has a big forgiveness aspect, and a lot of banks are still haunted by the memories of mortgage crisis when banks were asked to do a lot of foreclosure forbearance and loan modifications, and later on the regulators came after banks very hard. So banks are very concerned that will it lead to another repeat of that situation where they go and lend this government guaranteed money, and then if there's any perceived frauds on behalf of small business owners, will they be held liable for this?
Yeah, that makes sense. So you've talked a little bit about what banks might be lacking. What are they doing right now? What has been the response from banks in the market to this new program?
So there are three main aspects to it. One is banks are scrambling at a very accelerated pace to figure out how to administer this program for their small business clients. The second thing is that it's going to lead to a big digital revolution because banks are not used to working without their physical infrastructure, and this requires 100% digital infrastructure. So that's a big leap forward. And then the third thing is that banks are still very concerned and worried that how this whole program will pan out, starting from onboarding customers to managing the client base, doing KYCs, ensuring there's no fraud, and then how to administer the loan forgiveness piece in this.
Now, it was announced earlier this week that Biz2X is providing some platform capabilities to banks. Tell us a little bit more about what's going on with the technology.
In last few days, we have been getting a lot of calls from our partner banks and from potential partners also, and we already have a full SBA platform which is being used by a lot of banks in US, and we decided to add the PPP module into that, and we are launching it early next week. Biz2X Accelerate SBA module will help banks to deploy the platform very quickly. It has already has all the third-party integrations built into it for KYC, onboarding, uploading the documents. It's already connected for all the payroll data that can come either directly from IRS or from the payroll companies, both at the time of onboarding the customers, calculating the amount eligibility, as well as the loan forgiveness part of the program. So what we are trying to do here is to give one single platform end to end that includes the origination, onboarding, underwriting piece, as well as the servicing piece. And the banks can come and take advantage of this. My take is that CARES Act is one of the most significant piece of legislation in the last 50 years. It will change the landscape of business banking. It will make banks go digital in an overnight scenario. And at Biz2X, we are there to help banks as well as small business owners to get access to credit.